evolving into a very structured setup. So
Awesome.
I look
I think,
forward to that.
And Savita, I know you also know some people. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Savita, and I came to this whole thing through Priya. Priya introduced me to Srini, and that's how we all here. Um, I'm I also live in Toronto, so yeah, whatever help I can give, I can definitely help. I can do my part, and also learn in the same process. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. So I think everybody else knows everyone on this forum. What I wanted to do is number one, this is such a magical journey for me, for all of us. At the beginning of this year, all we were doing is like what Priya and Savita said. We were just doing yoga classes. We met through different forums, and we've been doing yoga foundations. But there's always been this deep desire. I'm sure each one of us have some kind of a desire that the yoga is there, but what is the bigger impact that we're going to do to the country or the community that we're part of? And for me, particularly the thing is, after I learned yoga and some of the Yoga Sutra knowledge, particularly I was attracted to this the skill of samyama. Samyama is how can we help people to pursue excellence, but then what does that excellence apply towards creating a beautiful world or an excellent world all around us. And that's how we always wanted to have the seed, but we did not know how it's going to manifest. But when I was looking at the journey of 2021, we are almost about to wrap up 2021, the sequence of events without any plan. What fascinates me is, like, I know Ramakanji has been traveling with me for a couple of years. Sometimes we meet in my old house, and then we generally randomly talk about some of those things. But this year has been such a magical journey where one thing after the other started happening. We bought a facility, and then because we bought the facility, then we wanted to give it a name, and then we gave it a name of YEC. And then magically, how I did not even know who Kiruba was or who Naveen is. And then Rajesh entered the scene. And then now we have access to so many superpowers. And I mean, this list keeps on coming. And I just had a meeting with Rajesh for about a couple of hours. And we are talking about meeting Kindness.org and meeting with Harvard alumni, and there's so many resources that are at play. Now what I realized is we're getting too much carried away by all these meetings, but I don't think we are serving as a binding agent as one organizational unit, and then we make this initiative go forward. The other thing that I also noticed is that some of you shared with me is everybody, like Priya and Savita and everybody, is like want to do something, but there is no clarity. There is no clarity on exactly what we are supposed to do, and the simple. So I take all the responsibility for that. So what I wanted to do today is how I'm looking at the organization, but this is just my presentation or how I want to present it too. But the outcome that I would like to get is I want each one of us, part of this core team, to be aware of all aspects of the organization, and then each one of us take one operational responsibility, and then just operate like a real entity. I think the time for playing and everything has got to where we are, but now I think going forward, I think we need to start operating like a real entity. I think the time has come, and there's so many more opportunities that are coming our way. So that's the intent of today's call. Any questions or comments?
That sounds good. Very good, Srini.
Yeah. So what I want to do is every Wednesday when we meet, and I'm assuming that Wednesday is a good time, I would want us to go through literally the same aspects of overall organization, all aspects of it. And then each one has certain, certain tasks that need to be done. We also have an asana board, and Priya, thank you so much for reading my mind. And if you can be the scrum master and keep all of us on check of managing the asana board, I think that would be fantastic. But let me walk through the YEC 360. What are the things that we all collectively be aware of? The first and foremost is organizational setup. Right now we are all working on this theme as a concept, and it brought all of us together. But I think, the time has come for us to really set up into an organization. So I did start some work with a company that I work with. It's called Floyd Green CPA in Atlanta. I used them previously for one other nonprofit organization that I started with Sriramji, Ekashri Schools of Yoga. So it's a very simple, lightweight process. I started the discussion. So the first and foremost is we are going to register this company, the 10 YEC, as a Texas incorporated company, but we are going to register this as a nonprofit entity. And we did debate about, whether we should actually create this as a commercial entity or a nonprofit. I think a nonprofit probably is a good thing because that also allows us to receive a lot of funds, and it does not change any potential things where if some of us want to make this as a career, I don't think it should block from that. So anyway, the summary is we are going to go with this. The Floyd Green CPA, if any of you are interested, I would want to partner with you and then go through this process with Floyd Green CPA. I mean, there is only one or two pages that we quickly need to fill out. And then we just have to keep correspondence with them. I think it takes about 4 to 6 weeks before we get or sometimes, up to 2 months to get the full nonprofit status. Right? So that's the first one. And then the second thing is, and again, using Google or something, we need to set up a Google domain for us, an email address and some of the surrounding infrastructure like a Google Drive and email and so on and so forth. Let's actually do that. And again, that should also be a relatively easy task. So with respect to the organization setup, these are the two things that are at the top of my mind. Are there any other things that we need to consider?
You've already started working on the website. I mean, I see mails where Naveen is working on that, right? Naveen or Kriba, one of them.
Yeah, Kiruba is doing that. That comes under marketing. We basically put that on the website.
Okay.
But that's actually happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So in addition to email, you definitely, I think I would assume we need some kind of a contact number. We don't know if it want to be a physical mobile number or you want to make it a Google number.
Google Voice. I think we should. Why don't we do that as a? Actually, we should. I think Savita Garu will be very happy if we see a 1-800 your voice.
Srini, eventually, I don't think Google Voice is a good idea. I think eventually you're going to have a more, a stable number, at least a mobile number, because people don't find it very credible when you give a Google Voice number, even in a resume for a job interview. So I don't want us to end up looking spurious. So I don't think Google Voice number is a good idea.
How about we register this 1-800 your voice?
Do you want? Okay.
Or
do you want to do that later or do that right away?
Oh, sorry. Huh?
Sorry. No, I mean, isn't that going to cost you if you're going to go for toll free? Do you really want to do that right away or maybe later?
Yeah. I think some of those things. I think the cost may not be that high, but we'll figure that out. I think why don't we basically say like the format.
My suggestion would be like after running few programs, or then it's like a support group kind of a thing. I think it's
correct. Yeah, absolutely. So does anybody want to work with me on this 501c3 and then this Google domain setup? Naveen.
There's one more line item may be useful in the organization setup is the key members, so that people understand who's playing what role, like operational versus advisory and the partners, right? As an organization setup, it's important to get that clarity, so it would help. I think.
I actually wanted to have that discussion here. It number one, we have an interest, but it has to be more of a pull, not a push, right? Like for example, Naveen, I'm just throwing that as a scenario. You might want to play this as a partner role as opposed to being a key executive. I'm not saying that that's not what you're saying, but it's a choice. You see what I'm saying?
You read my mind.
Yep. right? So,
So,
that is one
Srini,
of
one
the.
more thing. Again, I'm glad Naveen brought it up, because you were talking about bringing it to the forum and getting approval. Surely only some of you should be the deciding authorities on this. Some of us should only operate on an advisory role, where maybe we can, comment on some of the suggestions or give our feedback. But I don't think you should let everyone have a big say in decision making. It doesn't work very well, even though it sounds democratic.
Yeah. Actually, as part of the 501c3, we have to submit who are the executive or the operational leaders. So right now, what I have is Srini, Rajesh, and Ramakanji. And then depending on the interest, we were trying to see who else would want to be involved. So that is something that I would work with each one of you to figure out what's our interest, right? But right now, what we have is Srini, Rajesh, and Ramakanji is also a little bit tentative. He is like, would it create any Hanuman temple, this and stuff? But so far, we've actually put 3 members as part of the executive team, and then others. The roles that we need to have are, number one, the CEO, the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. These are the 4 that we need to do, right? But we'll come back to that. But the point is noted. The thing that I'm looking for is, if anybody has, all of these are going to be learning moments, like the 501c3 or domain and IT setup. If you're interested in using this as a learning moment and also helping the YEC initiative, it'll be a fantastic. I think these things should not take more than 1 to 2 hours.
No, I can work with you on that. If it's going to be filling forms, looking for information and stuff like that.
Yeah, already we started the initiative. If you're interested, I'll actually include you in this, right? But tentatively, why don't I put this pre-Agar?
Okay.
Right? And then next thing is, we need some help in somebody who is managing the finances. I mean, there is not much happening. Sorry, somebody, can you move? There's some disturbances happening. Yeah.
I think that should be one of you what can I say? The board members. Finances.
No. This is no board member.
I can create a spreadsheet and maintain.
I think this has to be Savita Garu, because she does this for profession, right?
No, no, but I can maintain a spreadsheet.
Yeah. So basically,
see
what
the
we
cost-
want to do, basically right now, the funds that we currently have, or we have about $37,000 that are under pure online after we bought the vehicle, and then we have about 25,000 in ACOM, right? Those are the things. So what I would want to do is, going forward, any new initiative that we support, it has to come to this team's purview, and then that's the only thing that we're going to fund. I mean, until now I've been like playing with myself, but I want to make sure that now this becomes like a YEC, and then we're going to put more capital in. Does it make sense, Savita Garu? And then we need
yeah.
if there is any open source software or something that SaaS software, then we can actually start, hey, here's a program that we're spending and so on and so forth, right? Like, for example, for
I
LA,
can save in a Google Drive an Excel sheet. That's
Google
where
Sheets.
everybody can see.
Perfect. So
Okay,
the
I
final
have one more thing to add here. Eventually at some point, I think we are registering this as a formal entity. So you're going to have to submit documents and, subject yourself to auditing and so on. So
yeah, taxes,
right now,
you need somebody.
Yeah, not just access. Right now, we are a bunch of people who know each other. But I still want things to be formal from the beginning, because Savita, you have to demand the documents and stuff from the beginning as an accountant, so that there will be no problems when filing. Don't accept any informal communication.
The receipts.
No, but I think whatever the spending and whatever the source of money is coming, like a donation, has to be approved by everybody, right? It's not, I'm just keeping an account of that.
Yeah,
And somebody who's spending, say, for a subscription or anything, then they have to give like obviously the receipts or whatever it is.
Correct.
I'm not making any decisions here. It has to be approved. It's just
No,
I'm maintaining the books.
Correct. You're maintaining the books. That's all they do it. Yeah, perfect. And then we will have a CPA and all this stuff. So that's all we need. Okay, chal. But the thing is, all I would want us to do is right now, the money that we have to spend is about 50K that we have, right? And like, for example, so we will use that to maybe conduct some programs in India or different things. And we're going to capitalize it a little bit more, probably in the next 1 or 2 months. So then the next one is programs and faculty. So there are, the different types of programs, and I think Naveen is putting it on their list, but, we offer programs of yoga foundations, the 10-hour, 20-hour camps. We've been doing that here and in India. So far, I have requests to conduct these programs via ACOM in Atlanta. And then with Pure Online, we will have some discussions this weekend, and we'll probably do some in New Jersey and Florida. And again, these will be virtual. And then in Warangal, we are starting one more camp, the virtual camp, by Lavanya. Lavanya is Sadanandam's daughter, but that is also something that's coming. So I just want to give everybody a view of what's in my thing. And then what we wanted to do is create the next set of youth entrepreneurship workshops. And this is where what Rajesh and I talked about was, Kiruba, I thought you would be able to design. I don't know if you already have something, but we thought you would be able to do a thought leadership kind of a camp, and then thought leadership and innovation. And then Naveen, we thought you could run a camp about Little Extraordinary. Yeah. And then we were planning to recruit this girl. What's her name? Starts with S. But she's a very young genius kid.
Soundarya, or is it Soundarya?
Soundarya. Yes, okay. Exactly. Soundarya, we were planning to have her. I met her about, I think, 3 weeks ago or something. And we were planning to have her do a camp for planning, how to the time management and the planning. So these are so what I want to do is, while we are doing all this organizational setup and so on and so forth, the way we create the momentum is we have to continue to run courses and do our own reach out, like the community reach out that we have, the community reach out that we have through Pure and ACOM, all the networks that we have. We just have to keep on doing them. And for some time, we were going to do this as virtual things, but I think it's extremely important for us to design some small things and then do these programs. So I just want to put it out there. Or if you have any suggestions of Naveen and Kiruba that you would want to do, please suggest. But I would love for us to do some programs in the entrepreneurship series. And then the next one is, sorry, any thoughts, Naveen and Kiruba? Does it make sense?
Here again, I think it would be very helpful, because this is going to be one of the main areas of operations.
Correct.
So somebody who is going to be leading the effort from operations perspective, so that people know whom to go to for coordination, to organizing and so on, might be very helpful from, again, organization setup side.
I think
because this is operational, so it's
Correct.
important that you have.
Correct. We need to have a program manager for this, right? The thing is, here is what is happening right now, right? What I do is I create a flyer and then I put a survey and then I send out an outreach and then people sign up and then do that. But that needs to be program managed. That's what you're referring to, right, Naveen?
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. And since many programs earlier, it was probably led by you, so you knew the content, the time, and the kind of people that you needed to reach. But now as YEC, it is important that there is somebody who is available and working on this. And because it's becoming a legal entity, it's important that we have somebody owning this and actually more like a staff and full-time. Going forward, very soon, we need to have a staff.
Yeah, the thing is, I would want to wait until the dedicated staff at a later time. The way we want to do like a startup, right? Like a startup, what we do is, like, for example, like Naveen, if you want to do the little extraordinary, I would like you to propose what is the format of the class, how many weekends that it's going to be, and then what is the content, and you know the content anyway. And then we have some standard templates of the flyers, but if you want to define a flyer, as long as you keep the thing, and I think, you should come up with, based on your availability, you should submit, like, we want to just give us a 4 weeks of an advance thing. Then what we'll do is, once you have the flyer and then some of the content thing, then what we will do is we will figure out, one of our team members, and then what we'll go do is we're going to do the outreach.
Correct.
And then you run the program. But I don't think, at this time we would have a dedicated staff who would basically monitor and all that.
Yeah,
right?
if not dedicated, what I mean is that whatever you said, one part of the partner or somebody who's running the program, they provide those details. That's perfect. And the other side, where once it is scheduled and the outreach and so on, so that side of the program management, because here the way I'm seeing many of the individuals or the partner companies bringing their programs, the outreach would be outreach, the engagement, collection. So those are all the other parts which are required. And if there is going to be one or the other programs happening, so that is when whoever you want to have program wise somebody to coordinate and manage the outreach, or is it one person at this point in time who would be able to manage? I'm sure outreach is very essential here, and that is going to bring people who are providing programs and also the momentum for YEC.
Correct. And I think absolutely. So at this time, I completely agree with you. The responsibility is, we basically paint a list of the programs, and I'm putting out some programs that I think we should do in December, in the December and January timeframe, right? The two months timeframe. Then the two levels of division of responsibility. One is the program owner, like the program owner is in the sense that, like Navi, right? Whoever is the program conductor, they are responsible for providing the details and registration form and the flyer. And then there is one dedicated person who would be doing the outreach. So at this time, Ramakantji, if you don't mind, don't mind, actually, before I do this, does anybody would want to own this? Like the outreach coordination, the program coordination, where we look at all the programs and whoever is conducting, and then, then we have some channels like, local communities, some pure online and ACOM networks, and then just, blasting them through this. Is anybody interested in doing that?
If Ramakant is sticking this, I can assist him a little bit. If he's volunteering.
Yeah, I think any others I would appreciate probably to help on that probably. But like on these roles, I think I'm not yet strict on what and how. That's where last meeting we talked about it extremely. That we'll talk about our offline and see what my bandwidth and all. But right now on the call, if anybody can be part of it or lead it, that will be even more great actually. But if you think one of the strengths that I have, because I need to actually see what my true strengths are to probably fit the right roles here.
Actually, I would recruit your son, Sricharan, to do this.
Sure.
Because that will also, actually, we need to have some youth coordinators, right? I mean, of course, we are all youth, we should never forget that. But I think, we should recruit some of the college things. Actually, there are some.
I second that, Srini. It's a very, very good thought. Yeah. And I have one question also, might support in this conversation. When we are registering as a non-profit, or is it not for profit? What is that status of the company? Is it not non-profit or not for profit?
So basically, it's considered non-profit. What it essentially means
Non-profit.
is
So
non-profit.
then my question is related to that. For these programs that you are planning to conduct, can it be charged or it cannot be charged?
No. It has nothing to do with anything. Non-profit essentially means is the whole entity is not for profit, and then we still would we can charge programs like art of living charges for programs. Everybody can charge what are the programs, right?
Okay, sure.
And in fact, you could even take salaries.
Yeah, that's what. There are distinction here, at least to the knowledge that I have about it, is non-profit versus a not-for-profit. Are distinguishing by themselves that not-for-profit is like you run it like an enterprise. It could be even a social enterprise where, but the proceed or the profits or the value of it is necessarily meant for the service. And the non-profit typically does not get into any commercial activity. So, so there is a distinction. So I just wanted to understand there how that does work. And if it is, and you clarified, so you can do commercial activity and you can charge, you can do it's, but it's non-profit.
Exactly.
And
I mean,
and it's combined, not for profit and non-profit is like combined there.
Exactly. So it's exactly combined. We can do all these things, but here it is meant to serve the community. It's not for any other, right?
Sure.
So this is what we get approved of these things. So we can charge it. And like I said, not only we can charge it, we can pay everybody. But when you pay everybody, whoever is getting paid, then they would have to go through their taxes.
Yes.
That's all they do, right? So that's why Savita's role becomes very important. No, it's not. So don't get alarmed, right? But I think this one requires a little bit more of coordination where we want to maintain a rhythm of courses, right? I want to get into after this, some of the milestones that we want to target for. The momentum of the YEC is when we start continuously offering programs. We need to be in the news. Otherwise, the momentum can easily die down. Like, for example, when we started YEC in June of this year, we started with a foundations course, we started an entrepreneurship camp, and then there was some kind of a buzz. But then the buzz kind of goes down, right? The key thing is, since we have so many of these power forces like Kiruba and this, and we have so many canned programs. And I think, and the fact is the cost is so low other than our time, particularly with the virtual format. I think we should keep on giving it to more and more people and using the outreach of the networks that we are part of and learn from it. But the fact is that is the only way we can establish the movement. So what I'm really looking forward to is Naveen and Kiruba, and I will also get Soundarya again. But I think at least get some of this momentum going, and then we will take care of the outreach. I think we'll work with Savita ji, and then if Ramakant allows, or I'll directly reach out to Sri Charan. But I will also get some of the youth committee in this place. I think they will have a much better success, because at the end of the day, they need to reach to their peers. Right. Okay, the other big thing is, as I mentioned in the last satsang, so we are going to embrace the LIF, the Lead India Foundation's course as the common framework that we want to offer to our participants. And it is a human transformation model. And one of the first milestones that we want to do is all of us, like whoever was the YEC members, both here and in India, we want all of us to go do this course. What I'm driving towards is in December, I would want all of us to go through this course. I think it's about 15 to 20 hours. And I think, is there any time that works best for us? Should we do that
Christmas
as a
week?
5 hours?
Christmas week is good for me, like from 20th and onwards.
Preferably weekend, please. I mean, I'm also joining a new project, so weekend would work.
Yeah, like a Saturday and Sunday, would like a 5 hours a day, would that work?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think our Saturday morning will be Friday night in India, so you just need to check if that will work for them.
I think, they're fine with that. I think that's all good, right? But I thought the best way to do this is, just go knock it off in one weekend.
But you said 20 hours training, so 5 plus 5 is only 10.
No, I think, we'll try to pack that into maybe 10 hours or 12 hours, and I'll see. Because since we already know some of these elements, I think we can go fast track it. Perhaps. And I'll work on it. But the way I'm looking at Ramakantji, I think we should be able to knock it off in one weekend, right? Saturday and Sunday?
Could be Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, well, let's put it that way for now. Let's keep moving. And
why not?
We'll see if we need more time. Yeah.
I think, for the engineering college, freshers, it takes 3 days. I think we can easily do that and stuff, right? Then the faculty, I think, we're going to do that on the website. So, and the other thing is in terms of our assets and the facilities and resources. So we all know, and again, the thing that I would want us to make sure is this place, the ranch that we have, this is our property. This is the YEC property, right? And we call that as a YEC HQ. And then there is also a Zoom account, that we pay. That is again, everybody should have access to it. And then, the other one that we recently acquired is, there is a vehicle that is there in Warangal. And then there are some of proposed new centers that we are trying to do. Some of them are like, there is a Sri Parivar, which is a human transformation based on yoga. And we are trying to convert, or at least, use a part of the facility to a YEC center with a youth entrepreneurship camp. And then LIF Bhavan, which is near Hyderabad airport, there is a thing, and we are planning to set that up as also a YEC center. And then there is a new facility, and there is another place that we are looking at in Reno, Nevada. So, and again, the thing is, this goes down to the plan. Once we build one center, we should be able to replicate this. And in fact, we may even, what is Naveen? What is your thing called in Bangalore Labs or something?
It is Triple I Business Labs.
Exactly, business labs. A portion of that we could even brand it as a YEC center. So yes, the goal is when we launch the website or when we go launch, it should create a sense of surprise and delight. Like there is already a bigger footprint, and in fact, we are actually having a bigger footprint. Yeah. So this is facilities, and then the next one is marketing and social media. There is a website that Kiruba is actually doing. Kiruba, whatever the content that I sent, was it helpful?
Yes, Srini.
I see. So maybe what we can do is maybe you can set up a one-on-one call, maybe one of these weeks, and then let's actually try to finalize the content. I think you're probably waiting on Naveen to provide the curriculum, right?
Correct, but not necessarily waiting. We can go ahead with whatever content that we have, and we can take this in smaller steps. So
perfect.
Actually, Srini, looks like in the flyer that you shared, right? The content for the courses is also listed. It's incremental additions that we can keep doing now. That's how I saw that. It's not a showstopper now. And for the launch, it is there. Additionally, like, a few programs of what Kiruba and myself and Soundarya's, few of the other members who you think, the one that is missing there, where we need detail, is the facilitators that you wanted to showcase, right? So as this one, that part is the only section where the content is required. The names and just the names and the photos would be good enough for Kiruba's team to put it in a way that it is nice and link it to their LinkedIn profiles also.
Correct. I think what I did was I was just trying to think how to organize the content in the curriculum. So I put them into think track and execution track, and then the character track. And then I think, for each one, I just put as a placeholders. Then I think what we need is we just need to have an executive summary, and then some details, like, what you're talking about, the duration and this, and then people need to just have a button that basically is like, click here to be notified when this course comes in. That's all we need to do.
Yeah. So a couple of them might map to somebody in this group, or meaning that facilitators courses, where the title might fit in, or with a small massage to that based on their programs, that section would be available. So we can now fast track it actually. So if we have the names of those facilitators, each one would have already interacted or something like that, let's create one sheet and fill that, and I think that will accelerate.
Okay. So one thing is, can I suggest something like, for the folks on this team, and then I'll also make a request to other things. For the folks on this team, can we send a photo of yours and then perhaps a LinkedIn link or a small bio? Because I want to use all of our faces as faculty.
So then the link that I had shared, I'll reshare. The form, right? That has a placeholder for the photo collection, or somebody could create that. So that way, or a Google Drive that you are talking about, so people can put it up there. So it is available, easy, and making it accessible to Kiruba's team would be also very useful.
Perfect. I think, why don't we use your link? Does everybody have a link that Naveen shared? Savita and Priya?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I do.
Oh, I see. So then in that case, all we need to do is just upload a picture and then, a quick summary of the bio. I think that should do it. Then we're all going to be famous. Sorry. So does that work? Okay. Then the next one is, sorry, is there some chat? Okay. So that makes sense. So I think Kiruba, what you said is a good one. Naveen, if you can share that link once again, I think that will help.
Sure.
Can we do it on email rather than chat?
Why?
It's okay. So I think we just need those some place where the contact details are available, so that at least coordination would happen.
Yeah. No, but what is
Actually,
the point?
the form is more convenient.
Yeah.
The reason is because it is in centralized place, and everybody core is in charge of the website and working on it will be easy for them. Otherwise, there'll be too many emails we have to keep sending.
No. What I meant is the link to the form can be emailed, because once we close this meeting, I didn't know if I'll have access to the chat. So
Yeah, got it.
No, but the piece also, anyway, this is a minor level of detail, but once it's posted on the WhatsApp, is there any issue with that, the link?
Oh, okay. WhatsApp's fine. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, WhatsApp is our primary modality of communication. So it gets shared on this thing and then we are done.
Yes.
Right. So I think, Naveen, all you need to do is resend the link and then make sure that everybody's profile is captured.
Yeah.
Like a prison picture, like on the sideways with a mugshot. Right?
And the assumption is that the profile and also they have a program to offer. Is that true when we said facilitator?
Correct. I mean, first is the faculty. We will have a separate website in the page. In the website, there is a faculty. And then when we do the programs, they send that as a separate information. And then we can choose to link it. When we listed the curriculum, we can choose to put their link there. That's optional.
Okay.
That's optional.
Got it. Then we'll create a separate form just to capture the facilitators, photo profile, all that. What we already have, we'll remove few things and make it available.
Actually, don't remove anything. Don't remove. Keep it that way, and we can choose to use the information depending upon what information.
We will make it non-mandatory then. Some of those fields. And
I would like to be facilitator. I don't think I'm ready for faculty at this point of time.
By end of December, you'll be ready. Sorry. So okay. So that's a website. I think
partnership. One of the names that I see now with that kind of an approach that we're taking, Institute of Inspiring Innovation could be one more new name coming up soon.
Correct. I think why don't I put that as III?
Yeah, the III is the Institute of Inspiring Innovation.
Correct.
That's the name. And that's the new partnership.
Correct. So basically the partnerships that we have are like Pure Online and Ekam are more of a go-to market. Sri Parivar, we both yoga plus the facility. LIF will have a deeper partnership. We'll sign an MOU. And then SVIASA, we will again yoga plus with the YEC team. And the Sage Warrior is, I don't know if Kiruba and Naveen, if you know this guy, Satyan Raja. He actually uses yoga and vichara meditation based coaching for almost like a Cerebrate, but it's a beautiful experience. But he charges a lot of money, something like $5,000 to $10,000 for a 1 week workshop. But I think everybody is wanting to express themselves through the YEC. I mean, we don't even have a YEC, but everybody's interested in expressing through YEC. That's quite interesting. And then, of course, Art of Living folks also reached out to me, and then they're willing to contribute or whatever we want to do. Mind Valley, anyway, Vishain and Rajesh also talked, they're interested. And of course, IAI, Naveen is here. So we're going to continue to, what I'm going to do is, as and when these partnerships are, materializing, I would like to have one of us be part of owning some of those things, Sri Parivar or LIF, and then do that. But right now, let me own this, and then we will hand it off. And then some of the investors and advisors that we are planning on talking to and getting is, of course, we all know Sriram Sarvottamji. He's definitely going to be. He even wanted to take this as an operational role, but right now I'm putting him as the main board. Sheila Taluri will also be on the board. Doug Dooley, who you met at the YEC launch, he was previously a VC at Venrock, and now he's the president of a company. Kala Shambwani, he wants to invest some money in the YEC. He's actually a Canadian, Toronto dude. And Michelle Vannard, she's from Bikram Yoga, and then Satyam Garu, who is based in Frisco. And then Josh Leslie is one of the top tier investors. So these are the people that I've talked to so far. So once we have the entity finalized, we will actually have at least some of them put some money, and we will have a regular board meeting and things like that, right? And we also probably need to, so we'll keep on putting other lists of the people that we are interested, particularly in India and here, like for example, Dr. Nagendra or some of those things, and we'll keep on adding them to the list. So this is basically a kind of a high level.
The name for that is Satyan actually. Satyan Kalyan.
Yeah, Satyan Kalyan. Actually, I get confused with this Satyam and then the other Satyan Raja, the Sage Warrior dude, Satyan Kalyan. Absolutely. And we will actually add more people at some point. I think we would want to have more legit seasoned entrepreneurs and CEOs, so that we'll actually run it like a regular organization with increasing our reach more broadly. But this is the list that I currently have, and I'm sure there is more people that we add with our collective minds and brains, right? But this one is, we're just having conversations. I think all of them said yes. Some of them said no, like Rajiv said he doesn't have time. Some of them said no, but once we have the entity structure done, then we are going to do it like a regular team meeting, right? So that's basically what I have. So now, what are the things that we want to accomplish for the next 1 to 2 months, like let's say December and January? The thing that I would want us to do is, number one, website. I think we need to launch before Christmas. And the social media account that we want to have at least one podcast thing, and then some social media channel, whether it's a YouTube or TikTok. And then what I would want us to do is get into a cadence where we would actually publish some podcasts and blogs, at least 1 to 2 per week. And the next one is, we want to offer some new courses, like the 3 courses of thought leadership, a little extraordinary, or planning. Or if you have some other thing, Kiruba, I think on the entrepreneurship series, it'd be fantastic to have you, Kiruba, and Naveen, and somebody like Soundarya offer some innovative, something fresh as a youth entrepreneurship time.
Sure, Srini.
Right. So if you were to present, if you were to send that information of what you want to do in December, then either we target at least one of the courses over the holidays and keep it very light, like, you know, maybe 3 weekends or 4 weekends, nothing more than that. Right. So 3 weekends, you know, becomes a 5 hours kind of a thing. I think, you know, it'll be at least, you know, get the moment going and learning, but I'm not suggesting that it has to be 3 weekends, but keep it like last time when we did the youth entrepreneurship, it was a 5 weekend thing, right? And we covered some important, some concept, but I think, you know, the most important thing is offer something, just do some little outreach, not little outreach, whatever the outreach that we have, and then learn from the process, and then we iterate and improve on that. So the 4 milestones that I'm looking for by December, and thing is, number one, Priya, you and I need to get this organizational infrastructure set up and done. Then Naveen and Kiruba, and I'll talk to Rajesh, and we will basically at least have a plan to start offering these 3 courses. And then we'll also do the LIF Foundation course. Then we will launch the website, and then we'll kick off the blogs and podcasts. Does this sound like a plan? Yeah. And then, so one thing, Savita will introduce you to, not introduce you to, connect you to Rajesh. For the blogs, we were thinking of maybe not the blogs, for the podcast, we can perhaps use Rajesh's company, and that is something that we can look into, and along with Anchor or instead of Anchor. Yeah, that's all. Sorry, I have.
So are we doing Anchor or no Anchor?
No, we do the Anchor. Along with that, we should also explore Advisor. And the same content can go into both places or only one place. But I think, you know, if you have the content, we might as well put it in 2 places.
So what's going to be the source of this content, Srini? Will it be excerpts from satsangs, or how are these podcasts going to be?
We are planning to do at least one initial series. We want to do Yoga Sutra series as an example. And then the content we want to do as a 3 to 5 minutes. That's one. And then the second one is, I mean, we have all the tracks, right? You know, whether it's a Yoga Sutra or the Gita. If anybody is interested, you know, we can actually, the format, I think Savita is trying to design, where it will be 3 to 5 minutes and then quick nugget, and then we will record it and then post it.
Okay.
So, and you're more than welcome to join as well. But the tracks are defined in the curriculum, right? There is a think track, there is an execution track, and then there is a character as a self track. And the character and self track is more about yoga, Gita, and everything in the applied life. And the thinking is where we have sight, insight, planning, thought leadership. You know, there are a bunch of things. You know, if you were to look at the website content that I put in the execution, is where second brain, business plan writing, and some of those other things. So any content that anybody would want to record, you know, we would be able to review it, modify, review it, and once it's approved, and it goes into the podcast. And and again, the thing is, let's not work on the perfection. We just need to get familiar with the tools, and then start recording something, and then once we get the motion going, then we can go back and figure out, you know, whether this is the right content or not right content. But all I wanted to do is, by December and January, I would want to make sure that we at least have the capability to start publishing some podcasts, and then also start writing some blogs. Okay, so that's basically what I have. Is that too ambitious, or is just enough?
I think it's just enough.
Okay, I think that's a good
answer. Great start, actually. This is a very concisely and at least good, well thoughts, at least on a single place. Wonderful.
So Kiruba, I think, with the content that you have, if you need to schedule another meeting just with your team and me, let's actually get the website thing ready and then just put it out there.
Shall we do this tomorrow, Srini?
Tomorrow morning, your team? Tomorrow morning, my time.
It'll be morning your time because it'll be evening. We prefer, because my teammates are involved, we prefer evenings. India time.
Sounds good. Yeah, you tell me whether it is tomorrow morning your time, tomorrow morning my time, or Friday morning my time. You let me know.
Tomorrow morning your time. That will be tomorrow evening your time.
Love it. Right? And then I think that one is under thing. And then what we will do is the next one is Priya. I think tomorrow I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to copy on a document and I'm going to send you this 501c3 and then domain and ID.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Sounds
And then some of these things we would like, for example, on the Google domain, I think it's about $39 or something like that for the domain registration and the email. But all those things we should be able to do.
okay.
So I'll whenever we need to do it, I'll give my credit card, right? And then we'll send the receipt to our CFO, Savita.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And then that one is done. And then I think Savita is already working on podcasts and other stuff. And I think that's it. And then the courses, Naveen, you owe a course content to Savita, and then Kiruba, you will also design one course, and then we'll talk to Soundarya.
Sounds good.
Right?
Yes.
And Ramakant ji and with Acharya, let you and I work on figuring out, finalizing the schedule for the LIF Foundation course.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. That's all I have.
Okay. See you then. Have a great evening to people in the US and good day to people here in India. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.